Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, English for IT Professionals. My name is Terry, and today's lesson is 5 essential expressions or phrases to use in daily stand-up meetings. Quick introduction, my name is Terry. I'm an English teacher from Ireland. I speak Spanish, Portuguese, French, and Italian. 14 years of professional English teaching experience online, offline, in schools. I'm also a Udemy instructor with almost 200,000 students. I have courses about job interviews, technical job interviews, grammar, English for software engineers, many things. And you can find it here in my Linktree, English for IT Pros. Just a quick introduction. So 5 expressions for daily stand-up meetings. The objective is to help you to feel ready to understand and then start to use. But the number one objective is first to help you understand. A lot of my students have an intermediate or low intermediate. So this class is to help you get a good basics of the kind of expressions. So expression 1. Yesterday I worked on and the task. Now you can use 2 variations. You can say I worked on, or yesterday I was focused on optimizing the database, like in this example. Now, just to be very clear, on and in with the verb work can mean different things. You can work on a task, a project, focus, or something you need, and to work in is about the place or industry. I work in education, and I'm working on a series of videos for English for Agile ceremonies. Now let's look again a little bit at the correct structure here of yesterday I worked on, and if you have a verb after, it must be with ing. This is what we call the gerund, or it's understanding the verb as a noun. It's a general reference to the activity. Yesterday I worked on debugging the new feature. Yesterday I was focused on optimizing the database. And if we look here, you can see some of the classic mistakes that students have, because the majority of languages, when you use a verb in the sentence, in the languages I speak anyway, or even like with German, Polish, or Spanish, you just use the basic form of the verb. And this is the classic mistake that you need to learn to change. For example, yesterday I worked on debugging the new feature. And you can see here, yesterday I worked on debug or worked on to debug. They are both incorrect. And it's usually because you're translating directly. Okay? Now again, if you have I was focused on optimizing, I was focused on building, I was focused on helping. And if you say I was focused on optimize, focused on to optimize, again, they are direct translations from your language. Now, some other common mistakes when students start to use this is that they forget to put the verb work in the past tense. It's quite common to see this, that some students just have a little problem using the past tense. It's yesterday I work on when it's I worked, okay? And the next common error, common mistake is about yesterday I was focused. When it needs to be in the past participle, I was focused. Now, probably the most important part about the pronunciation is I know in the writing with these 2 words, worked and focused, you can see ED. So your instinct is to pronounce with a D sound, but it's really with a T sound. Now, especially with the verb work, there's a really good, simple way to start to pronounce this kind of verb that has the T sound. You take the present tense, work, step 1, and then work and add the T sound. Work, worked. Pronounce very slowly. If your pronunciation is work ed, then you need to debug your pronunciation by repeating slowly. Work, present tense, worked, worked. It's a very important verb, very, very common. And the same here with focused, that the strong syllable is the first syllable, focused. Strong syllable in a word means that you pronounce more time the strong syllable. So it's the start, focus, not focused or focused or anything like this. It's focused. with the T sound. Again, if you are pronouncing focused, you need to debug your pronunciation a little bit. 3 examples here are: yesterday I worked on fixing a critical bug in the payment system. Yesterday I worked on improving the website's loading speed. Yesterday I focused on writing test cases for the new API endpoints. Expression 2. Today I plan to, and the task. And we have different variations of this kind of expression or this kind of phrase, where today I'm going to, and task. My goal for today is to, task, and I intend to, and task today. Intend is the verb from the idea of intention. So when we're using the word, plan is a verb and a noun. And when we start to use this here in a sentence, I plan to complete. And a common classic mistake is to say, I plan to completing. It's just not correct in this case. I plan to complete. Now, a direct translation, especially with Spanish, Portuguese, French, is that using this today I think to do something, which is not correct. We don't say I think to complete, today I think to completing, or anything like this. You can say I'm thinking about completing, but this does not necessarily mean that it's your plan. It means you're thinking about it. But if you're talking about a specific plan, say today I plan to complete. Now, to plan is a verb. For example, I plan to do it. And then the plan is a noun. Both are possible. So you can say I plan to do it, or the plan for today is to do it, or the plan for today is to fix the API, or whatever. Some examples. Today I plan to review the project requirements. My plan for today is to debug the authentication module. Today I plan to deploy the latest updates. Expression 3. I'm blocked by an issue. And listen very carefully to the pronunciation. It's another very important word with the T pronunciation. I'm blocked by. You can also say different variations. I'm stuck due to, and this issue. The blocker I'm dealing with is an issue, or I'm facing an issue with the issue. Sorry, I repeated the word a little bit. I'm facing an issue with, and your problem. So the correct structure is always to say I'm blocked by, and then the issue or the problem. I'm blocked by an API issue. I'm blocked by a missing environment variable. I'm blocked by a dependency conflict in the project. This is the correct word to use with block. Now, common mistakes are to not put block in the past tense. I'm blocked by, or to forget to put it like in the present continuous. Blocker, I'm face, right there. And then the third one is I'm stuck because a missing file, when you need to put because of. These are 3 little mistakes that can happen. Now again, the pronunciation is blocked. And if you are pronouncing the word blocked and you need to debug the pronunciation, remember step 1, step 2. Step 1 is say the word in present. Block. And then add the T sound. Blocked. Block. Blocked. Practice in 2 steps. Practice out loud speaking and practice very, very slowly. I promise you that the number 1 problem you have with the pronunciation of worked, focused, or blocked is that you are pronouncing too quickly. It's better to repeat slowly 10 times perfectly and then start. I promise you, because I have made a lot of mistakes in my life speaking too quickly in different languages and making little mistakes. I know this because I have made these mistakes, okay? So some examples. I'm blocked by a missing API key. The blocker I'm dealing with is a merge conflict in the main branch. I'm facing an issue with database connection errors. Expression 4. Can anyone help me with, and the issue? And we have different variations of this expression. Can I get some help? So get in this case, get is a complex verb. Get is really asking, like, can someone give me? Can I receive some help? And help is a verb and a noun. Next variation is, does anyone know how to fix? Or I'm having trouble with, and the issue, can someone assist? So it's very important to talk about this word here, anyone. Can anyone help me with, and the issue? I want you to take a moment and think about your language and think about how you translate this sentence. What is usually the case is that in your language, you don't need to make changes for the question. You just change the intonation. A simple example would be from Spanish. ¿Puede alguien puede ayudarme? And you don't need to change words. You don't need to change the order. You just change the tone, change the intonation. This is probably true for your language. It's true for the majority of languages. But English is a little bit special in that we have, can anyone help me with issue? And can someone help me with issue? When you use the word someone in this case, it means you are more sure. You have more certainty, or you are sure that yes, someone can there. But generally the word anyone is when you are less sure and you don't know. But it's the best form, best way for questions. If you're asking a question in English in a daily stand-up, usually you don't translate directly and say, like a direct translation would be say, someone can help me with, and not changing the question, when really you need to put, can anyone help me with? So for example, someone can help me. This is a fact. Now, it is true that you can say, someone can help me. It's more of an emotional question. It's more like, someone can help me. And it's more like maybe surprise, someone can help me? Or disappointment, someone can help me? But if you want to really ask the question in the correct way, you need to start using the word anyone or anybody. Can anyone help me? Can anybody help me? Okay? I'm not saying that someone can help me is completely incorrect, but I am saying that it's probably a direct translation of your language into English. And it's not the most natural way. So it's better to say, can anyone? So again, if you ask like a polite question, can anyone help me? There is the difference of you are sure, you are maybe not so sure about can anyone help me or can someone help me? And then it is technically possible to say someone can help me in a surprised or emotional question. So when we start to use this sentence, again we see the verb and ing. Can anyone help me with? And here you can see debugging with ing. And you will see that can anyone help me with debug or to debug are both completely incorrect. And again, probably a direct translation from your language to English. So some examples. Can anyone help me with resolving this deployment issue? Can anyone help me with troubleshooting the server error? Can anyone help me with understanding this API response? Expression 5. Is there any progress on and the topic? And we have some variations here. We can say, do we have any updates on and the topic? Or are there any new developments on and the topic? So when we look at the there is and there are, this is a way in English to talk about things that exist. For example, I'm recording this video and there is a dog outside my building who is barking. So sometimes I stop recording because the dog exists outside of the building. Now, when we have there is, it's singular. There are is plural. And if we have there is, we contract to theirs. So it's the TH sound here of like a vibration. The tip of the tongue touches the teeth. Theirs. Theirs. So, for example, you can say there's no new updates. But if we ask a question, we must change the word order. Is there any update? Okay. Now, again, if you say there's progress, it's similar to the previous about anybody and somebody. That's technically possible. But again, you're probably translating directly from your language and you're not changing the word order, because the majority of languages don't change the word order and they don't use do or does for questions. But really what the structure I want you to learn is learning to pronounce and to say, is there any progress? Are there any updates? It's learning to put the verb first. And as we look here at the different ways we can ask, we say, do we have any updates on the feature request? Is there any news regarding the bug fix? And when we're using this here updates or progress, it's better to use the word on. For example, are there any new developments on the feature request? And again, it just doesn't sound natural to say like about. On is more natural than about. So some examples here. Do we have any updates on the security patch? Is there any progress on fixing the login issue? What's the latest on the project deadline? Okay? Okay guys, that ends this lesson. Here are the 5 expressions. Please write your own examples in the comments so I can give you some feedback. You can write as much as you want and I'll give you lots of feedback. But these are the 5 here that'll help you start to speak and understand more in your next daily stand-up. Please, if you like this video, subscribe and click like. It really helps me. Please tell a friend about this channel, someone who is also learning English for their IT career. And you can find my courses on Udemy and Udemy Business. I have some really cool courses about English for software engineers, English for IT interviews, many things that can really help English for IT professionals. Okay. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next video.